One day, 50 Cent recorded the track 21 Questions for his legendary album Get Rich or Die Trying. However, Dr. Dre asked Nate Dogg to perform the hook that 50 initially sang.
Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down?
This decision undoubtedly helped the song appear in a whole new light, since Nate was one of the best in performing choruses.
Till the room comes off, till the lights go out, till my leg give out, can't shut my mouth.
Without exaggerating, Nate Dogg was the king of hooks. He didn't have a successful career. However, other artists wouldn't have become successful without his voice. 30 years have passed since Nate Dogg's first hit song, Regulate. For many, their love for hip-hop began after listening to this song.
The east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G.
Nate was born in the city of Clarksdale, in the state of Mississippi. His dad was a pastor, and his mom was responsible for singing in the church where little Nathaniel sang in the church choir. At the age of 14, after his parents' divorce, Nate moved to California. During one of the church picnics, being Snoop Dogg's cousin, he met Warren G. At the age of 17, he dropped out of high school in Long Beach and left home to join the U.S. Marine Corps. He was an ammunition specialist. After returning 3 years later, he was kicked out of the house by his mother. And together with Snoop, who was also given the proper send-off at home, the boys were forced to turn to crime to earn a living. But despite that, they never forgot about music. Under the influence of his then idol Richie Rich, whose group was called 415, they created a group called 213. Initially, yet another one of Nate's cousins, called Lil Half Dead, was included, but he later went solo. There was a studio in a store in LA, and that's where they recorded their first track, Long Beach is a Motherfucker. These guys recorded solely for themselves, just to be able to hear how their voices sound on tape. Snoop and Nate rap, and Warren tried to be the DJ.
You know, the homie that's in jail, you the homie fag, you know what I'm saying?
The pretty famous Dre, who happens to be Warren G's stepbrother, became one of the main guys in the rapidly rising label company Death Row Records. It was a difficult task to get him interested in 213's work. Dre was more interested in Snoop.
In the house with the pound like every day, and I'm right back up in you with Dr. Dre.
The young singer's official debut was on Dr. Dre's epic album, The Chronic, which led to the signing of a contract with Death Row.
I'm a nigga from the motherfucking street.
By the year of 1994, Nate was arrested a few times for crimes which include a robbery of a check-cashing company and Taco Bell. One More Day became Nate's first successful solo work. In the song, he talks about his time spent in prison.
One more day. One more day.
Our hero's time was ticking, and the release of his solo album was delayed. By that time, Warren G was offered a contract at Def Jam. The first single from his debut, Regulate G-Funk Era, under the name Regulate, became famous worldwide. And, in sincere honesty, Nate Dogg deserves the main credit for that.
The east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G.
The song made it to the second spot in the Billboards and was nominated for a Grammy in the category of Best Song Performed by a Duo or a Group. This was a great honor for rap back in the day. The song was initially planned for the albums of both artists, but Death Row made it clear that there will be no solo albums from him until the end of 1995. Generally speaking, the relationship between Suge and Nate was tense from the very beginning. Nate always carried a gun and wore a bulletproof vest because he didn't trust people who went there. He felt scared every time he entered that building, while Suge just said they won't touch him and that he shouldn't be worried. He also thought that Suge's act at the Source Awards in 1995 was shitty.
Man, I thought to myself, like, why would you do that?
By 1996, Nate Dogg already had a few successful collab songs to his name, particularly with Tupac. If you were to check out the All Eyes on Me album, then you could notice Nate featured on 2 tracks that, along with the banger Ambitions as a Rider, are the opening tracks of the album.
No matter where I go, I still the same hole.
And finally, his debut album G-Funk Classic Volume 1 was released. put it bluntly, Death Row completely disregarded his solo album, which had every bit of potential to have a good run in sales. The label stopped printing his discs, and just 3 weeks after its release, the album could not be bought anywhere. All of these misunderstandings led to Nate Dogg leaving the label and deciding to open up his own label company, where he bought the rights to his own music from Knight. He added a few extra tracks and released G-Funk Classics Volume 1 and 2.
To all the non-believers now I bet you see, nobody does it better than me.
In the album's first week, it sold 33,000 copies and reached the 20th spot on the R&B charts. This quite seriously upset Nate. Those close to him said that it seems that he might be missing something when it comes to solo songs. His circle thinks that it was always easier for him to work with someone rather than alone, which is why Nate continued taking part in collab songs with many rappers.
Take a seat. Hope you're ready for the next episode.
You don't really wanna fuck with me. Only nigga that I trust is me. All the real smokers know
Nate ain't passing nothing but dope.
indeed.
And with his hooks, he was also helping those new to the game. Take the track with Fabulous as an example. Can't Deny It was the artist's first hit song, which helped the rapper gain popularity.
I can't deny it, I'm a fucking rider. You don't wanna bang with me.
Yeah.
He once said in an interview that he wants to become the artist with the highest number of collaborations with other performers.
Different area code. Area code. Bro.
However, he didn't forget about solo releases. So his next album became Music and Me, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Top R&B/Hip Hop Albums chart.
I got love for my homies who be rolling with me. Play no game. Not for money, cause the money's the game. Side homie, it's a Long Beach thing. Girls, so fine. I can't help it, got to make.
And later, the 213 group reunited, and they released their first and only album called The Hard Way.
I was just about to call till Snoop Dogg told me that he found your boring.
The final memorable tracks in Nate's career were his collaborations with Eminem on Shake That and Have a Party with Mobb Deep and 50 Cent.
Into the motherfucking mountaintop. Heard motherfuckers talk, seen them drop. Touch your body like me want to.
All of these masterpieces were recorded under the influence of alcohol and weed. He really liked drinking cognac in particular. For example, a bottle before a concert, another during the concert, and a third after the concert. All of the parties and the drinking led him down the wrong path, and this impacted his health. Nate had 9 kids, but he always tried his best to spend as much time with them as he could, and people took notice of that. As he himself has said, he had an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other. And when his kids went to bed, by midnight, they would hear how their dad would pop another bottle. As one of his cousins said, when he drank, he would start tripping out. Trip out name was Buddy Love. And this Buddy Love could be seen in an incident in 2006 when he was drunk and broke into the house of a woman he was engaged to. She cheated on him, so he wanted to take back the ring he had gifted her. And the woman was not home alone, but with a guy who told Nate something that triggered him to beat him up. In the following year, he was involved in a serious accident. That was the beginning of the end. In that very day, he discharged himself from the hospital with internal brain hemorrhage to be able to perform in Vegas. Although he certainly should not have done that. Further, a few months later, Nate suffered a massive stroke, and he lost function in one half of his body. Snoop arrived at the hospital with his wife to pay his friend a visit. Snoop's wife said,
I thought you said you broke up with her. And he was like, nah, I can't break up with her yet. I still love her. And I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. Then I looked down, and there was a bottle of Hennessy right by his leg.
He decided to organize a choir. He didn't just do this for himself, but for his mother as well. When Nate was in the hip-hop industry, his mom couldn't listen to his tracks. She considered his work to be vulgar. Nate really wanted his mom to listen to his songs, so he invited her to the studio to help create songs. Despite that, he continued drinking, even though his family told him not to every single day, and he would respond saying not to worry about it. In 2008, he got married to LaToya Calvin. However, this marriage didn't last for long. she filed for divorce a few weeks later. Nate had enough problems on his plate without this issue. He had high blood pressure, which he was on medication for. However, stressful situations and his intense lifestyle led him to getting another massive stroke a few months later, which completely, physically incapacitated him for the rest of his life. He was fully paralyzed. He couldn't walk nor talk. He had to get a tracheotomy. Such a surgical procedure involves getting a tracheotomy, which is performed in cases of airway obstruction. After the operation, Nate communicated with eye movements. For his relatives and close ones, it was very hard to watch, knowing that his time was running out. On March 15, 2011, Nathaniel Dwayne Hale died at age 41 in Long Beach of complications of multiple strokes. After his passing, rappers spoke out about Nate Dogg by explaining how important of a figure he was for hip-hop. Snoop Dogg. We lost a true legend in hip-hop and R&B, one of my best friends and brother to me since 1986 when I was a sophomore at Poly High where we met. I miss you, cuz. I am so sad but so happy I got to grow up with you, and we'll see you again in heaven, because you know the slogan. I love you, buddy love. You will always be with me forever and a day. You put the G in G-Funk. You put the 1 in 213, and you put your stamp on everybody you ever did it with. All dogs go to heaven. Yo homie and baby brother, Big Snoop Dogg. Warren G. You are free now, my brother. I will see you again one day. 50 Cent. I just landed Nate Dogg is dead. Damn. God bless him. R.I.P. He meant a lot to West Coast hip-hop. I've always been a fan of it. I wrote the chorus to 21 Questions. I needed Nate to sing it for me. He had a way of making everything feel hard. Eminem. Nate's voice and music will never be replaced. He helped create the blueprint for West Coast hip-hop, and I was one of the lucky people who had the privilege to work with him and the honor to have him as a friend. Nate will be sorely missed. My condolences and prayers go out to his family and loved ones. The next video I recommend you watch is the heartbreaking story of DMX. If you liked the video, hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Bye, everyone.